Mike Florio, Profootballtalk.com, released a story that is an excerpt in his book, Playmakers, that is coming out. And I got to say, the payoff matched up to the hype and the tease that you had, an unbelievable reason why Sean Payton didn't replace Jason Garret. Good morning, Mike. Good to have you back on the show. Tell us what happened.
Well, and this really is crazy. And when I heard the story while I was writing the book, and let me give you the background, because people are like, well, why is this coming out now? Why didn't it come out 3 years ago? When I got the offer from Public Affairs, the publisher of Playmakers, to write a book about the things that have happened over the last 20 years in the NFL, and there's over 100 different stories, essays that delve into how the NFL operates, some of the crazy stories of the past 20 years. They said, here's something we want you to try to do. And we know it's not going to be easy, and we know there's not going to be one of these for every single one of your essays, but let's find some stuff. Let's do some new reporting. Let's get some stuff that isn't already out there for some of these things from days gone by. And I said to him, look, don't expect much here because, you know how the NFL is now. It's covered 24/7. I mean, we're always on top of everything. So I did trip over some things in the process of trying to rub the lamp while writing the book, and this is one of them. And so it was 3 years ago, just about now, and the context is the Cowboys had lost to the Rams in the divisional round, and the Saints had lost to the Rams in the championship round, capped by that ridiculous non-call of pass interference that screwed up the rule book for 2019. So immediately after that game, Saints are eliminated. That's when the Cowboys started to lay the foundation, and this is all backroom, behind-the-scenes stuff. It doesn't happen out in the open because you don't activate the process of actually hiring Sean Payton until you know that you can pull it off. The Cowboys had a deal worked out with the Saints for what the compensation would be, and a deal had been worked out with Payton as to what he would get paid. And so what would have happened next is Jason Garret would have been fired. They would have done their search. They would have known all along what they were going to do after they did their search. And guess what? That happens from time to time in the NFL. And then after they would have searched for a while, they would have officially contacted the Saints about compensation for Payton, and then they would have officially contacted Payton and hired him. That was going to happen. That's how it was going to go down. And on January 28th of 2019, Anthony Davis, the Pelicans, I don't even know what position he plays. I guess he's a forward. I don't know. Is he a forward? I don't know. I don't follow the NBA.
Just say big man.
Anthony Davis informed the Pelicans that he was not going to sign a new contract and he wanted to be traded. And was like, well, what's that have to do with this? Well, Mickey Loomis, the GM of the Saints at the time, was the VP of basketball operations for the Pelicans. And he said, hey, I can't be the guy who's the common link between these two guys leaving New Orleans at or about the same time. So, sorry, Sean, just can't do it. And that was that. And pulled the plug. September 15 of that year, Payton signed a contract extension. And, that was supposedly the end of it until yesterday, because now Payton's no longer the head coach of the Saints. And that's going to spark up the speculation that Jerry's going to make another run at him, whether it's now, whether it's later. But we'll see. But that's why, yesterday I said to the publisher, hey, this is probably a good time to let people know what almost happened 3 years ago. If we're looking to generate interest in the book, this is probably an opportunity to do it.
Yeah. I have it pinned on my timeline, and obviously I don't get the traffic you do, but I think I even have more retweets with the book excerpt that you released yesterday. Thank goodness. That is so because Mickey Loomis was forced to be the basketball GM. He didn't want to be the bad guy and lose two of the biggest names in the entire city in 1 month.
He couldn't be responsible for both of those guys leaving New Orleans at or about the same time. And the Anthony Davis request for a trade is what derailed what would have been a trade of Sean Payton to the Dallas Cowboys. Yes.
Mike Florio, Profootballtalk.com. The book coming out with more stories like this is Playmakers. What happens with Sean Payton now?
We spent some time talking about this on PFT Live earlier today. He did not close the door on coaching again, which makes it more likely he'll come back. Usually they at least try to be coy about it. He was very honest and transparent. He may coach again. And he talked about TV, and he also mentioned radio. And it's funny. He did that entire press conference with a microphone in front of him that had a Caesars Sportsbook flag on it. And I know enough about Payton from over the years and how he speaks, how he communicates. I said this on the show. I could see him kind of sitting around saying, all right, I've been coaching here for 16 years, and I get, 15 to 20 million a year. I'm one of the highest paid coaches in the NFL. But, they've found a way. These owners have found a way to hold down the pay of coaches because, you got a guy like Bill Belichick who's making 20 to 25 million. You got a guy like Jared Goff who's making 33.5 million. Something's not right with this, and we bust our asses and we work really hard. And now I look around and I see, this goofy guy that we signed undrafted in 2003, and he becomes a pretty good quarterback. But, on TV, he's just kind of goofy, and he's yelling, and he acts like a fan, and they're paying him $18 million a year now. And then I see this guy who was a punter who's getting $30 million a year from FanDuel now to talk about sports for 3 hours a day. I could probably do that, and I could probably make more money doing that if it all falls together just right than I'm making as a coach. I could see him saying that, hey, if I really know how to explain the game to people, and I could do it in a way that's understandable and accessible and fresh. And he had a 90-minute press conference yesterday, and I watched most of it, and I never thought, man, will this guy just shut up? So I could see him getting into radio or TV and getting one of those sportsbook sponsorships, and that money is falling from the sky right now. And, yeah, if you're making $15 to $20 million a year and you're working every single day, every single minute, just, driving yourself to an early grave as an NFL head coach, and you could trade that in and make more money doing something with less stress and less time commitment, why the hell would you not consider that? So it wouldn't surprise me if he does it.
Yeah, but Mike, he also then said he still has a football vision, and every single TV show this morning is talking about the potential marriage with Mike McCarthy on the hot seat, Sean Payton to the Cowboys in 2023. Why would that not happen if the Cowboys don't win it all or get to the Super Bowl with McCarthy?
Well, and that's one way that it wouldn't happen. If the Cowboys overachieve next year, then you can't do it. And also, if Payton decides, I really like this. Look, I'm in shape. I've lost 30 pounds. I feel good. I'm back into CrossFit. He had 2012 completely out of football. He was in great shape. Yeah. He was rested. This is 10 years later where he's getting to choose to take a year off. I think if you're Jerry Jones, you don't want to give him that year to adjust to a new reality and possibly not be interested. You want to get him while he's still in coach mode.
Yeah.
And so you make him an offer he can't refuse. If he thinks he could craft it for himself a little mini media empire, and I think he's good enough to do it, where he could, make $30 million or more a year, or at least more than he's currently making as a coach, or as much. As much would be a wash, because at least you're not working as hard and grinding as hard, and you have the bounce of the ball or a bad call or a gust of wind screwing up your day. I think now's the time to make the move. And really, do you want Mike McCarthy coaching the whole year under this cloud that
right.
You're going to get fired and they're going to bring in Sean Payton next year? I just think if you're ever going to do it now. And the other side of it, too, and look, I hope I make it to the brink of 80. But if I was at the brink of 80, I'd probably tell myself, I don't want to assume that I got a year
right.
to do this. I may just want to go ahead and do this now. If I'm going to do it, why wait? If you're going to do something and you're almost 80 and there's something that you want to do, why wait? Let's do it. Let's get this done. Let's make this happen now. So, and he didn't slam the door on coaching this year. I don't plan to. How many times have we heard people say, I don't plan to do something and plans change? Nothing like 30, 35, 40 million a year to get your plans to change.